So you have a 3D printer in your room, or maybe more than one. You do have a giant mess in your classroom or your workshop that you know you need to get organized. So you take measurements of all the different parts of your tools, you open up Fusion 360, and you get to work taking those measurements and creating an awesome product that's going to organize your shop and make it look nice in the process. Once you're finished with your model and everything looks great, you take it to your 3D printer and get a beautiful product just like this one. So say you spend all of that time modeling, all of that time printing, and all of that filament used, and it doesn't work. After creating this model that I thought would work perfectly, I made one brain surgeon level mistake and realized that my nozzles didn't fit. So while it may not be a great idea for me to talk to you about measuring advice, what I will talk to you about is how I'm going to prevent this from happening in the future. Let's get into some tips in Fusion right now. So in order to prevent my mistakes from happening again, what I did is I took my original file and just modified it to make small cutouts that are going to be tests essentially. So I want to make sure that my measurements are indeed correct and I'm not a delinquent when it comes to simple measurement. So what I did is I created these small pieces that will just make a small test I can throw on my 3D printer, make sure my nozzles fit properly, and I can go from there. So it's a super easy fix. You're 100% right. You've probably thought about it before. I didn't because I'm not that smart, but let me show you how I modified my model very simply, very easily to make these test prints and to save myself a lot of filament and a lot of time and errors down the line. So there's two different ways that I can think of to make these test pieces. First off, if you have your model created already, what I would suggest doing is just create a cutout on that model itself to test the individual openings that you've already created for your tools that you want to organize. What I would recommend doing first is make sure that you save a separate copy. That way you don't accidentally override the progress that you had previously. Now, typically you can go back in the timeline here in Fusion and change that, but I would, just to play it safe, create an additional copy. So what I did is I have my nozzle organizer over here, which is the same copy, just made a nozzle organizer test, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new sketch and look from my top view, and I'm gonna create a rectangle across the entire piece. So I'm gonna put that right on the corner, bring that back down, and go to the opposite corner here. Now what I'm gonna do is, just so I can test the individual pieces themselves, how they fit, but also how they fit next to each other, I might just print two. So what I'm going to do is make a cutout like that, make sure it connects back together, hit escape, and then I'm going to hit E for extrude, okay? And then I'm just going to select the entirety of the sketch that I've already created, okay? So what I'm going to do is select this, cut that entire piece up, hit escape, and now I'm left with just that individual piece itself, okay? Now, what I would probably do as well is hit extrude, click on this, and bring this up quite a bit until it's just at the point where the opening doesn't cut through the entire piece. So click here, click OK, and now I have a much, much smaller print, but then I can easily test the fit of these nozzles. Now, the second way, and honestly my preferred way, is taking a brand new file, again, not messing with the original file, brand new file, creating a sketch, and what I'm going to do is just create that same rectangle that I made earlier. And since I know I have two 6.5mm openings that I want for my piece, what I'm going to do is just make that a little bit bigger. So I might go 15mm, and then let's say maybe 8 or something similar to that. Again, just so I can see how they fit together. Actually, since my other piece was there, let's go 10. Again, I have my original square. I'm just going to bring this up maybe to, let's just say 5. Again, I'm not looking for complete accuracy. I'm just looking for fit right now. So does the opening that I have fit? Click OK. Look at this from my top view. Create a new sketch. And now I can just very simply make my circles in here. So I'll do 6.5. I'll do another that's going to be 6.5. And then you can take some time to make sure that these are the correct distance apart from each other. So take my center point and my dimension here. Just make sure that's set at 5. So I want that at the halfway point. Do the exact same thing here. And then maybe just make sure these are the proper distance apart from each other. So whatever you would like to set that distance to, maybe I want this to be, let's just say they're equal. So 3.5. Let me just do the exact same thing over here. Again, that way I know they're equidistant apart from each other. Something very similar to this. Extrude both of these down right before they're about to cut through. and something like this here, again, I think would be perfect. Both ways work great. This is just my preferred method rather than messing with the original file. And then I can send these to the printer and just check my fit. So in my opinion, taking the time to do this is an absolute no-brainer. If you struggle with basic tasks like I do sometimes, it is absolutely worth the time. So just a couple statistics on the print themselves. You'll see on the screen right now. The first print, if I did it by itself and messed up, which I did, it would take 5 hours and 29 minutes, 69 grams of filament, or in money terms, I wasted a whole $5.34 on messing up this print. If I would have taken my time and gone through this step that I just listed out for you, it would have taken a 5-minute print, 1 gram of filament, or 8 cents worth of material. So honestly, for me, it just doesn't make sense to not do this. It's a perfect step that saves you so much time, so much headache, and I was a little bit salty after making this super rookie mistake. But regardless, hope this tip helps. Honestly, it's a basic one, but something I wish I would have thought of before I started. I didn't, so hopefully this helps a couple of you be less frustrated than I am. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any feedback on the video, any feedback on any of the videos you might watch on the channel, I would really appreciate it. If you want to take a look at any of the organizer videos that I'm doing already for my classroom at the school where I teach, there's a couple videos on the channel right now. I'll link them right up above and down below if you want to take a look at those. Love to hear from you in the comments as well, so if you have anything to share, any questions, please ask, and I'd love to chat with you. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.